On our special report, have you ever thought of working or living beyond Kenya's borders? Before you do that, you have to consider more than just the price of food or fuel. We focus on Uganda, one of the East Africa's country that is easily accessible to majority of locals in Kenya. Our reporter Cynthia Nanjala takes us on a trip to Kampala, the Pearl of Africa, as she reports on the economic similarities and differences between Kenya and Uganda.
You walk across the streets of Kenya, you would hear the common phrase of life is too expensive. Majority of them wish that they could move across the country's borders, looking for greener pastures to fend for their families and for their needs. But is grass greener economically across the neighboring countries, as many may seem to think? We decided to visit one of Kenya's East African neighbors, Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. Home to thousands of Kenyans and other citizens, it has been described as a country that flows with milk and honey. The landlocked country is a favorite destination and residence to many business people due to affordable prices of goods and a flexible economic environment. The temptation might be high for Kenyans to move to the country, as Kenya is currently grappling with a depressed economy, leading to a high cost of living. But first, you need to understand Uganda's currency. Banknotes in circulation include 50,000 notes, which is the highest denomination, 20,000 notes, 10,000, 5,000, 2,000, and 1,000. One Kenyan shilling trades at 24.93 Ugandan shillings, which means Kenya's highest denomination of 1,000 shillings is equivalent to 24,930 Ugandan shillings, while Uganda's highest denomination of 50,000 is equivalent to 2,000 Kenyan shillings. Economists have alluded to the fact that Uganda has more money in circulation compared to Kenya, as Uganda recorded a 7.1% increase in 2023, as announced by the Bank of Uganda. The cost of fuel has been on the rise in Kenya, the highest within East African region. And in the monthly review for November, which is regulated by the Energy Petroleum Regulatory Authority, diesel retailed at 203.47 shillings, petrol at 217.36 shillings, and kerosene at 203.06 shillings in the capital. In Uganda, for the month of November, a litre of petrol retailed at an average 5,400 Ugandan shillings, which is equivalent to 216.60 shillings, while diesel retails at 5,200 Ugandan shillings, equivalent to 208.58 shillings, while kerosene is not listed. President Yoweri Museveni recently banned the import of fuel from Kenya to Uganda, saying middlemen inflate prices by 59.9%, inflicting avoidable pain on consumers. In the new fuel purchase arrangement, the Uganda National Oil Company will be buying the country's entire fuel stock from Vitol Bahrain before distributing it to oil marketing companies in Uganda. So I've been able to do that comparison between Kenya and Uganda, just to understand, is Kenyan life so expensive, or is life expensive everywhere, or is Ugandan life expensive? So there's some few things we'll be able to consider. The cost of fuel has a ripple effect on food prices. Even though the cost of a 2-kilogram packet of maize flour is now lesser compared to earlier this year at an average 135 shillings, in Uganda it costs an average of 6,500, which is equivalent to 260 Kenyan shillings. In Kenya, 1 kilogram of sugar retails at 210 shillings, while in Uganda it's at 5,900, equivalent to 236 Kenyan shillings. A litre of cooking oil in Kenya is at 358 shillings in supermarkets, while in Uganda it's at 10,200 Ugandan shillings for the same brand. A 500 grams loaf of bread in Kenya costs an average 60 shillings, while in Uganda it costs 3,200, equivalent to 128 Kenyan shillings. Finally, the cost of 500 milliliter of a packet of milk retails at an average 55 Kenyan shillings, while it costs 1,000 in Uganda shillings, equivalent to 40 Kenyan shillings. In total, if you purchase these products, you'd pay at the counter 818 shillings for the Kenyan basket, while the Ugandan basket, one would cost 26,800 Ugandan shillings, equivalent to 1,075 Kenyan shillings, a difference of 257 bob. According to economic experts, aside from food prices and fuel prices, there are many items economists use to establish the differences in cost of living, including the gross national product per capita in a country divided by the country's population. In addition, comparisons for the minimum wage, the level of unemployment, inflation, among others. The gross national product measures a country's economic output, including the value of all products and services produced by the citizens of a country, both domestically and internationally, minus income earned by foreign residents. According to data published by the World Bank as of 2021, Uganda's gross national product GNP was at $97.96 billion, while Kenya's rate stood at $272.1 billion, the highest within East Africa. This means Kenya's economic output was at a higher percentage. On minimum wage bill, the minimum amount of salary expected to be remunerated to an employee stood at 130,000 in Uganda, equivalent to 5,214 Kenyan shillings, while in Kenya, the figure is at 15,120. Kenya's level of unemployment is higher as of 2022 at 5.50%, while in Uganda, it's at 4.2%. The general increase in prices and fall in the purchasing value of money, in other words, inflation, as of November 2023, in Uganda, the rate of inflation stood at 2.60%, while Kenya recorded 6.7%. In general, inflation tends to devalue a currency, since inflation can be equated with a decrease in a currency's buying power. As a result, countries experiencing high inflation tend to also see their currencies weaken relative to other currencies. Kenya is ranked at 162nd in the list of most expensive countries to live in across the world, while Uganda is marked at 143rd. So, do you still wish to relocate? You may have to consider more than just the cost of fuel. Cynthia Nanjala, EBN TV.